In this video, I'm going to attempt to kind of share with you guys the bird's eye view of online marketing, especially if you're wanting to make income as a blogger. The reason why I wanted to share this with you is I wish someone had kind of taught me all of this at the very beginning, so I wasn't like spinning my wheels and trying to figure out how do I make money just from creating a blog. And I wanted to share with you all the different channels that some of these bloggers who are at like X level are doing versus what you could be doing as a blogger starting out, so that you're not confused by all these different things that people are trying to do when they're at a completely different level. So first off, what I'm going to do is share with you the complete landscape of digital marketing and how you can funnel people to your site in order to make an income, and all the various ways you can make income. And to be honest, like a lot of these different channels that you hear about, whether it's like ranking on Google or if you're trying to beat the Instagram algorithm, I'm going to kind of explain to you the pros and the cons of each of the different pathways that you can take as a blogger. So I've outlined it using Draw.io. If you guys haven't ever used Draw.io, it's completely free, and it's a great way to kind of mind map or create Visio diagrams or workflows if you're trying to understand which flow makes sense for you. So as you guys kind of watch this, I would recommend thinking through your strategy using Draw.io and what you want to do to basically create income, passive income from your blogs. All right, so let's hop on the computer. I'm going to show you the bird's eye view and explain all the different pathways, as well as the pathways I'm taking for this side hustle where I'm trying to make things as passive as I can. So this is a diagram that I have, and the things that are in green are what I'm actually currently using as a pathway to make money online. And if you've seen my other blog income reports, go ahead and check those out. I kind of explained to you how I basically use traffic from Google. I don't want this to intimidate you at all, but what I want you to focus on are the items in green and in orange, because those are the pathways that I've taken, and I've made about $3,000 to $5,000 so far passively by using those processes that you see in there. So on the right are areas where I've kind of neglected or haven't even done just because I don't have the time or the capacity, but I'm going to explain it to you so that if it makes sense for the business that you want to run and the pathway that you want to take, it will be an awesome opportunity for you. So I'm going to go ahead and break this down so that you can understand the lay of the land here. So when it comes to online marketing, the two most important things that you want to know are that it's divided into search and social. Search is like if you're searching on Google, Bing, DuckDuckGo, and even Pinterest and YouTube. Those are actually search tools, right? And then you've got social, and everyone knows social as like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Clubhouse. So just remember, if you're trying to drive traffic to a website, okay, your goal is to drive traffic, right, more eyeballs onto a website, then your goal is to either be found on search or on social. And each of them has their pros and cons, okay? But the next layer after the platform type is the cost. Do you want to pay for traffic, or do you want to rank organically? And you're probably thinking, well, I want both, right? But there are pros and cons. Each of them has a cost and a barrier to entry. The first one is for organic and free search, you are bound by the algorithm, meaning if Google changes their algorithm, Pinterest changes their algorithm for free search, which generally they will, because their goal is to monetize their platforms that people are using to search, right? At the end of the day, they want to have a good customer experience so people come back and continue to use those search engines, but at the same time, they're also trying to field people like businesses who are trying to outrank without having good content. So you're at the mercy of basically that platform's algorithm, and you are also bound by time. Generally for search engines, especially like Google or Bing, it will take time, unless you're a huge domain, it'll take time for you to rank on those sites. So if you're okay with having time and you're okay with, changing your methodologies because of the algorithm, which generally will happen almost every quarter, then that might be a good route for you. The next area is paid. So with paid, your goal is to make sure that you have a really good landing page. So if you're paying for an ad, right, you're getting traffic by paying for an ad, you're totally skipping the time bound that was for free. And you're basically paying for an ad, but you want to make sure that you convert. So if you're paying for it, you want an ROI on it, versus with organic, if you have good content, obviously the search engines will want to produce you as the first result, whereas with paid, they don't really necessarily care about how good your site is in terms of content, but they do care in terms of like making sure that whatever you are advertising matches what the customer lands on the landing page for. So that is the methodology around paid. And when you're doing paid, especially as a small blogger, you will be competing against large, massive companies that are already paying for ads. And so the best thing to do, at least with paid, is you find channels that are net new. For instance, like DuckDuckGo and Bing, if they have paid search channels, then what you'll want to do is be the first on that platform, because not a lot of big players who haven't been able to be as nimble will be on those channels paying for ads. So that's my tip to you. If you're doing paid, that's great. Just know that you're competing with big fish, and just know that one of the places that you might find a lot of success is in these new spaces where they're just now providing the ability to do paid search, like Pinterest, for example. Okay. On the social side of things, you also have organic and free and paid. So for instance, I'll give you an example. Instagram, right? You are at mercy with the Instagram algorithm if you're wanting to have free exposure. Whereas with paid, you can just pay money and then you show up, right? With the target audience that you want to show up for. With social, what's really great about it is you can make a really quick message, but you do it like almost on a daily basis. For these channels, the biggest takeaway that I want you to have is how often do you want to create content for each of these different channels? Because each of these different channels, it's almost like there is another barrier to entry. With Google and Bing and sometimes even Pinterest, you could create content like on a weekly basis and you'll be able to rank really, really well organically. But with social platforms, you'll probably want to be on it at least 2 to 3 times a week. So depending on what type of content you can handle and how often you can handle should dictate where you can be the most consistent, which is where you'll get an ROI for the time that you spend on these platforms. For me at least, I know that I can handle posting once a week, maybe 2 times a week on a blog post. And I'm more consistent when it comes to blogging and creating content via my blog because it's just easier to do and I have the methodology already in place on what I want to share and the format I want to share it in. Pinterest is the same way. It's pretty consistent. I have a template where I just copy and paste the images and then I can upload it to Pinterest. YouTube is pretty easy for me, so I can create content on a weekly basis and be able to be consistent that way. With Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Clubhouse, I mean, those are different platforms that I just don't have the time to learn. With Facebook, I'm sure you have to post on a daily basis just to make sure that you get the engagement that's organic, or I can pay to play. And Facebook is a place where everyone is at now, and so all of the marketers with the big bucks are there advertising in those spaces, and you can do it too. But what I'm saying is that if you're going to be on Facebook, just know you're going to be paying a pretty penny to get eyeballs onto your content, and your content better be good. And what's interesting about Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Clubhouse is that the content copyright on those, copyright meaning like the type of content that you're putting on to those platforms, have to be on point because those are very, very short copy versus with long copy like blogging. And on YouTube, those are methods where like you can just put all that content there and the search engine will pick like bits and pieces and snippets of it. Whereas with Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Clubhouse, you have to be very, very specific on your messaging because the audience is there and the audience there is expecting very, very short form content that hits the point. Otherwise, they will just skip over your ad. So just make sure that with Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Clubhouse, you are interacting and you are basically engaging really well. With social platforms, the importance of it is the engagement, right? It's really, really important to be engaging with your audience. Whereas with search, what's great about that is that you can just put content out there, and if people are looking for it, they will come to you. So that's the difference between like search and social. And also they still have the same costs analysis, which is, do you have time to spend to kind of mess with the algorithm, or do you just want to pay money and then scale up and know that your competitors are bigger fish in the sea? So now that I've talked about channel, let's talk about income, my favorite part. So with income, there are 3 different ways that I know bloggers make money, and this scales up to enterprises too. So if you're an enterprise that is trying to kind of get into digital marketing and you're trying to figure out how do I create income from my online marketing campaigns, like it literally falls into 3 buckets, at least that I'm aware of. So the first one is for a blogger, I want to create advertising revenue, meaning like I want to create like sponsored posts, I want to create, which is advertising, right? So if I'm doing a post for, I don't know, toilet paper or something, then that is advertising revenue. So I'm getting eyeballs to my site. They know that, I'm driving traffic, so I can write sponsored posts there. There's also the display advertising that you have on your website where, when you see those pop-ups with ads, you can make money that way. And so as long as you have enough traffic coming to your site and you're generating traffic through search from Google, Bing, or Pinterest, and even YouTube, you can make money with advertising revenue. Advertising companies that I have heard of and would recommend are, first off, Mediavine is amazing. Google AdSense, you're going to be making pennies though. And then Ezoic, as well as AdThrive. Those are the big four that I'm aware of for agencies that you can work with to get display advertising on your site to make money on a monthly basis. And generally, you're starting to make really good money if you get 50,000 page views to your site. The second way of making money is product sales. Now, for bloggers specifically, people are making like ebooks online where, you just send a file, or you have an Etsy shop. So I know a lot of people who have crafting sites and then they sell things through Etsy, or they use Gumroad to sell their digital products. And that's really easy money because it's passive. You make it once and you just sell it. I will say there's a big part that's missing here, which is the funneling system. And each of these different processes, each of these boxes has a methodology and a framework behind them so that you can be successful. For instance, like for product sales, it's really, really important that you get your sales funnel right, meaning that you're grabbing email, your content is on point for the sales page, and you know how to remarket to your customers. So that is what product sales is all about. So you get people from some of these channels, right, coming to your website. You figure out how to create a lead magnet. You figure out how to funnel them into an automated email list, and then you figure out how to run sales via email so that they are buying your product. So this is a whole different ball game outside of just content creation. This is literally like creating a sales funnel for your product sales. Now, services is a third piece, and instead of like having a physical product, you're providing your time or your company's time to go help solve a problem. For instance, if you're a plumbing service, or if you're a realtor, or if you're trying to sell services on consulting, like that's where service sales are. Now with service sales, it's really important that you get your lead magnets right, whether you're offering up like free information and then getting them to an email list where you can continue to email them value and then sell them. That is an art in itself. And so these two are harder, and that's why I haven't gotten into it, because number one, I really don't want to do customer service. I'm more about like passive income, just show the ad and like deal with the comments on my blog post if it's really crappy. But like with product sales and service sales, you're having to deal with one-on-one with customers. For me, I don't want to trade time for money. My mental model right now for my online business is being able to create content once and then be able to have it make income passively versus trading time for money. And so that's where my head is at right now. But overall, this is the landscape of online marketing. If you guys want a copy of this, go ahead and sign up for my newsletter. The link is down below. I will share with you like the password to the resource library that's on my site that will include this. It's a PDF download, and basically you'll then be entered into my weekly Friday emails where I share with you all the things that I'm working on. For example, right now I'm working on an affiliate only site where I'm literally advertising products that I don't necessarily own, but it's leading to an affiliate link, and I've created it with like WooZone and WooCommerce. And so I'm going to share all my tips and tricks of what I've learned as I implement it. And so every Friday I write a love note to all of my readers just so that they know what I'm scrolling on, new things that I'm trying, just so that they can learn from my mistakes and the best tips and tricks that I know that I'm using right now. So there you have it. That is the bird's eye view of online marketing in general. And then the green path are the paths that I'm taking, at least, to create passive income. The ones in orange are things that I'm still working on. Leave a comment down below if you guys want me to go through any of these in detail, including sales funnels. I can talk all about sales funnels if you want me to, or even sponsored content, but sponsored content falls underneath advertising revenue. But if you guys have any questions on this overview, bird's eye view, please let me know. I'm more than happy to kind of dive deeper into any of these spaces if you want me to. So I hope that was helpful. Go ahead and check out the other videos on my income report. I'll go ahead and link those. Hopefully that helps you kind of start your journey on online marketing and making money online by blogging. Bye guys.